Imagine what would happen if a well-known magazine writer in one of the world's biggest cities wrote an article about his favorite bicycle ride, and then invited the 30,000-plus readership to join him on his next ride. Imagine the chaos as thousands converge at the rendezvous point, and imagine the looks of drivers and pedestrians as this critical mass takes over the streets and sidewalks. Sound absurd? Meet Don Morton. Don, movie reviewer for Tokyo's Metropolis Magazine and general man about town, recently invited readers to join him on a 20-kilometer round-trip jaunt from Asabujuban in east-central Tokyo to Haneda Airport in Tokyo Bay.
Oh, yeah. Things are looking good.
Ah, Don, the eternal optimist. The fact is Tokyo was at the tail end of one of the rainiest seasons in years. The odds were not in Don's favor, as he would soon find out. Fortunately for Don and the innocent drivers and pedestrians, the thousands of Metropolis readers didn't show up. Due to the 60% chance of rain in the forecast, only a dozen or so gear grinders pulled up to the start line.
I don't think this comes up.
While waiting for latecomers, Don tended to last-minute details.
What's the adjustment?
As the writers got to know each other.
Yoshi, my name is Ifni.
Soon, all had gathered, hailing from the US, Australia, Canada, and even Japan.
Who are you? You have to put back pressure. You can play the girl in the movie.
Most were experienced riders and knew what to expect. For others, though, it was a whole new adventure.
Is there a good bike shop around here?
What are you looking for?
A little bit of everything.
Why is it
I rebuilt this last summer on the side of the road. So I'm going to need to bring it back really.
On the way down, I'll point one out to you. Let's roll.
Well, we got one in the can. We can't go yet. It depends on your first impression. We could have a vote.
Yeah, let's go. I say we go.
We shouldn't vote somebody off the island like before.
What makes you think this is a democracy?
No laughing, no smiles. Wipe that off. It's the serious stuff, yeah?
Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to go down to the bay, to the Intercontinental, then we're going to go right along the bay underneath the Rainbow Bridge and down past, and when we get to Shinagawa, it's all bike trail from there. It's all nice and green and flat. And mountain bikes can take a little side trip, ends up in the same place. It's kind of cool. And then we'll end up across the river from the airport, watch the planes come in and go. And the ships come in, and watch them go away again.
It wasn't Don's first invitational ride. Earlier that summer, he'd put out a similar call in Metropolis that was, you guessed it, rained out. But 1 week later, with sunshine in the forecast, Tokyo's Pied Piper of pedaling with a band of eager readers in tow headed out to Odaiba, his other favorite harborside hangout. Don organizes the rides because he likes to share his knowledge about cycling routes around Tokyo and offer tips to the uninitiated.
Stay on the left in Japanese. How do you give some type of warning if you're coming up behind someone?
Well, just hit a bell and then wait for them to go the opposite direction you think they're going to go.
Maybe not always the most sound advice, but Don means well. On the busy streets of Tokyo,
Take a left, Anthony.
you should never be too confident, because you never know when you'll run into trouble. 15 minutes into the pedal, the brakes on one of the bicycles failed. The rider hit a parked car and then had a, shall we say, rendezvous with gravity.
I'm going to try just a little bit here.
Lesson learned. Don't ride with a bent tire frame.
Watch out. Give this car, let this car go where it wants to go. This is not exactly legal. Okay, go ahead. Straight toward the bay.
The route from Mazabu-Juban cuts across part of Tokyo's old Shitamachi waterfront district, now redeveloped, to Rainbow Bridge. With rain beginning to fall, Don's hope of a dry ride seemed as elusive as a pot of gold at the end of that bridge. The question now, call it quits or continue the ride? It was unanimous. Push on. The route southward along Kaigondori passes through a less inspiring area of warehouses and industry. Good news, though, it follows a stretch of flat and freewheeling highway where riders can really cut loose.
How many we are? We started out with 12 and now we have 11. And then there were 11.
You hadn't signed waivers, did you?
You can sue Metropolis.
How do we know when we're at Seafront Square? Is there a sign that says?
Yeah, more or less.
Okay, this is where I've been lost a few times.
Oh, it's the first monorail stop.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it's actually a new one they built.
All right.
Turn left. Disney, turn left.
Leaving Kaigondori and crossing Yashio Bridge, the view opens up and offers a somewhat surreal glimpse of Tokyo's harbor waterways. Immediately after crossing the bridge, the route veers alongside the Wagon Expressway, where gray turns to green, sort of. The final approach cuts across a stretch of reclaimed land called the Oifuto Dockyards and parallels a wooded stretch along the Keihin Canal. The full beauty of the Oifuto Seaside Park will reveal itself only on the return ride. Finally, a half hour behind schedule, Haneda in the rain. Jonanjima Seaside Park is one of the newer man-made islands in Tokyo Harbor. Land reclamation has been going on in the bay for 400 years, but only in the past 30 years have parks and green spaces been included in the designs. Oases in the midst of Tokyo's onward push into the bay. Jonanjima Seaside Park offers a typically unique Japanese experience. Where else could you find a campground sitting right in the middle of a city of 12 million people? And watch the jets flying overhead as they come into land. And ships head out to sea. All from the comfort of the campfire. Then there's the boardwalk where people can stroll.
Look at that! Hey, 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 hey! Mickey jet, Mickey jet! Mickey jet, Mickey jet!